Well, hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm CornyBros, and today I have, I think, a pretty special game. This is me driving my ISU 152 in a realistic battle on the jungle map. Now, for some reason, I usually have a fair amount of luck on the jungle map with this tank. And what's happening directly in front of me is this Sherman up ahead has advanced forward. I joined this game out slightly late, and he's run into some type of opposition. And I don't want to push up over there because this is I am lower part of the battle rating spread. There are Tiger 2s and Yag Panthers in this game. So I'm backing up. My goal is to sit up on this ridge and hopefully get the first shot as someone comes over that ridge and I can obliterate them. Because that's what the ISU 152 does, especially at a 6.0 battle rating. And you probably are going to see a lot of ISU 152 gameplay because this is the tank I'm playing, honestly. I'm playing it a lot because recently I decided, you know what, I'm going to talisman it and I'm going to re-up my premium. I decided I'm going to do it primarily because I really want to do a review on the SU 152, or no, SU 122-54, and it was going to take an inordinate amount of time to do it otherwise. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to talisman my SU 152, and I'm going to play it a lot and have a lot of fun with it because this is the tank I've been having fun with recently. So, you know, this is what I'm going to play. Now, I've decided though that the AI are just marching up there and getting knocked out. So I know something's there and I know something's shooting it. And if I recall right, it's a Yag Panther. But a Tiger 2 is actually going to come around that hill. Now, part of the problem the ISU 152 has is that the gun isn't that accurate, and it's honestly something you have to get used to. You really have to practice getting it on target. My first shell went a little wide and hit the Tiger 2 on the side of the turret. That was never going to be any type of damaging hit. To knock out Tiger 2, actually any of the Tigers, you need to hit him in the turret face. A lot of times, side shots are a really bad idea, which is why since this replay I've actually started loading, it wasn't this game in particular, but I've actually started loading some heat shells. And there we go, that's what you try and do. You just whack them in the face and the explosion will go through the roof of the tank and destroy ammo and things like that. So that's kill number one. Now, as I was saying, I've actually recently started loading heat into this tank. I made that decision because it is conceivable that in this tank I'll run into an opponent with greater than 180 millimeters of armor. And it might become necessary to penetrate that target frontally through traditional means, not just whacking them in the face with an HE shell. So I started loading the heat. I don't know how I missed that shot, but I know how. I didn't aim at the target. The target was moving and I didn't compensate for that, so I didn't hit him where I wanted to. He, on the other hand, does not know I'm here, which is wonderful, or he doesn't care. And this is why I play the ISU exclusively in the realistic game mode. Now, notice where I'm aiming. I'm not aiming at his side because that's going to take the hit. I aim for the front portion of his turret because his turret was rotated to his left, away from me. That means that if I hit him right there, the explosion is going to have roof, tank roof to explode on. Those are the things you have to take into consideration. A lot of times, if the enemy are full side on, broadside to you, with their gun facing you, a lot of times the only thing you can do with an HE shell is knock out their gun, maybe cause some damage. But I have had success hitting the cupola. If you shoot the cupola, a lot of times the explosion will go through the roof of the turret. But that's a very difficult shot, and a lot of times I just smack him in the gun with it. But things like Panthers, no problem. The Panther really doesn't have the armor to deal with an ISU if the ISU hits it. From the sides and the rear, you'll penetrate. Now, Tigers and Tiger 2s, you need to be kind of sneaky, but, you usually have to be when you're using HE. Especially at this battle rating. At lower battle range, just hit them in the face and they die. But so what's happening in this battle is we're actually in a little bit of a desperate situation. The enemy are... At this point, I was pretty convinced the enemy were going to win this battle. That doesn't mean I'm not going to keep fighting. And you saw right there, I just whacked that Tiger 2 and set him on fire, which is always nice. And he's actually going to just burn up. And the Jagdpanther that was sitting next to him actually, or the Panzer 470, was destroyed. Now, there's a Stug, I believe it's a G. There's also a Stug 42, but I can't tell them apart really well. Now, I'm rotating because I want to hit him and try and help the T-44s that are trying to deal with him. But this is where HE kind of runs into a problem. My goal here, I wanted to put the shell under him. I wanted the shell to land directly under his tank. Now, I hit him though. I wanted to bury the shell under him because I've had success hitting the ground under someone and having it just explode and wreck the tank. I got lucky there. Panzer 4H, I believe, or a J. You can't. It's difficult to tell them apart. I think it's an H. Took a shot at me, and in this situation, sometimes the best move is to not give them an option. I think I broke everything. I think he's pretty dead. That's an H, by the way, because of the extra side plating. But he got a full barrel of that. Now the Stugs are actually making solid moves here. They're getting off that hill because they do know I'm over here. I hit one of them. But I'm not really loaded and I can't really deal with them, so they managed to escape, but they won't make it far. And eventually I'm going to break contact, or basically move away because they were destroyed. Now, I am going to spot... Yep, oh, him. Well short. I hit the rock in front. That's unfortunate. That would have been a good hit. But, you know, not always. And I have been getting back in practice with this gun. It's entirely a function of I just needed to play it and shoot it more. But I think the other day I actually the explosion damaged a Tiger at about 1,900 meters. It didn't kill him, so I didn't really save the clip, but there was a hit. I registered a hit, just no critical damage or anything like that. And I really wanted to try and get another line of fire on this 4.2, but this Panzer 4.2, but he's actually escaped. I can't tell if it's the G or the F2. It's one of them. Probably the G, but it could be an F2. They look very similar. Now, you'll notice on the map that we don't have many tanks left. The enemy do have more players than us, and they are capping our zone, and they just knocked out our only defender back there. So I'm going to make the decision to head back. We have an IS-2 who's skulking around the enemy cap zone, which is good, but at this rate, we need to defend our cap. So I'm coming back over here, and I was a little worried about my left flank, but I kind of just said, you know what, if they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me from over there. I need to help defend the cap. So I'm going to roll up over here, and fortunately, no one's looking at me. And guess who's first? I think his entire tank is exploded. Now the Panther has got to be shitting bricks right now. He has no idea what's going on. His friend just exploded. And there's no clear... I don't think he knew where I was. I think he has no idea where I am. There's actually a second Panther in there that I don't even see. But, oh, this is a tough one. But loop it over and hit the top of the tank. If you hit the Panther anywhere but the front plate, he's going to explode. And Ally just took out the other Panther that was sitting in there. So now I'm going to turn back and look towards... One, I'm checking my flanks. But I'm going to turn back and look towards their cap zone because they just recapped. Means someone's there. That's another kill. I want another kill. And I spot him right there, but the IS-2 knocks him out, which is fine by me. But now our zone is being capped. So I talked about the ISU-152 as kind of a support tank, and that's really what it is. And in this replay, you really get a feeling for that because I'm basically sitting in the middle of the map and just turning to where the enemy are, and he got it. He exploded. Again, I don't think there's much left of his tank after that one. So now our zone is secure. So we're actually going to have allies move in and start to recap that. Now the enemy are, they're putting pressure back on this IS-2 to try and re-secure their cap. Because at this point, the game is starting to even out. The advantage we had was our tanks were rather spread out. Their tanks were grouped together, but they weren't able to pin down any of us. Now, I was able to sit in the middle of the map and eliminate 3 tanks in our cap circle because they weren't able to locate me and put fire into me. Primarily because they had to deal with threats to their front. We had an allied tank who was closing in. So making sure to check my flanks always is something you always have to do, and using binoculars is really useful on tanks that are slow to turn, and actually even just tanks in general. Usually your binoculars turn faster than your gun sight. So I'm coming up over here. The enemy are actually, they're going to be recapping the zone. So I'm going to come up over here, and I'm looking to blow up whatever's in there. There it is. They've actually just started capping the zone. Oops, spotted. Bam. See you later. Bye-bye. Fortunate, well, I mean, I say fortunate that killed him. He was certainly going to die, but that wasn't a great shot. Probably should have hit him in the face of the turret, but whatever. He's dead. I'm not. And I've actually only taken 1 hit this game so far. 1 hit when that Panzer IV-H took a shot at my side, and he actually didn't really do any critical damage. He slightly wounded my driver, I think. But I thought I saw something moving over there. I'm pretty sure it's actually not. But at this point, the enemy, we're basically having a brawl over the enemy's cap zone. We're making effort to recap ours, and the enemy are basically killing my allies inside of their cap circle. So I'm trying to get a new angle of approach on this, because the ISU-152's entire goal in life is to not be spotted and then whack you in the face with 152 millimeters of HE shell. If I keep coming at them from the same way, they're going to spot me. So my goal here was to try to get in a weird position where I could just come over the ridge, line up my shot, and coup de grace them. Because I really don't want to suffer return fire. I really didn't want to die. I mean, I didn't really care. Of course I could spawn another vehicle, but... And you'll have some as well. This is what the ISU is really good at. It's really good at sneak attacks. Because the advantage you have with the ISU-152, especially this battle rating that it's at, is the HE shell almost always causes damage or destroys the target. It's a one-shot kill type mechanism. If you can get the shell on target, and if you get it on target before the enemy do, you will almost always win the engagement. One of my favorite things to do is on Eastern Europe is sit in this little alcove and basically guard the B cap zone and the bridges that cross the river there. It's not the best spot, but most of the time the enemy cross the bridge and they don't really pay attention to you. And I've just been able to rack up kills on that bridge where the enemy can't go anywhere. I know the range to the bridge because I've done it a fair amount now. So I always hit the first shell. And when I hit the first shell, I win the engagement because either they die because I have a flank shot on a Panther, or they're severely damaged. Like if I whack a Tiger, any of the Tigers in the side of the turret near the front, it's going to damage some part of his tank. So tactically with the ISU-152, it's an ambush predator, but it's also a second line support tank. You can't really snipe with it because, I mean, it has the muzzle velocity is really bad. But it does have the advantage of being able to use indirect fire and being able to just hit once and cause damage regardless of the situation. You know, there won't be really any bounces. You don't bounce a high explosive shell in this game. Even if your shell misses and goes low, a lot of times you can still destroy the tank. And even if you hit like a glancing blow on top of the tank, it's usually going to blow up and cause a significant amount of damage. So I think that's why I've just been really enjoying the ISU. Now, my plan here, this was a bad move. I came over here because I wanted to try and defend my teammate who was capping. I realized, though, that this position is horrible for that. I didn't really want to get flanked. I was playing too cautiously. I should have been sitting in the cap zone with him. And that's exactly where I'm going now. I'm rushing over to the cap, and basically I'm going to sit in there with him, and if we get bombed, we get bombed. Whatever. I have other tanks I can spawn in. I have an IS-2 waiting, an SU-152, a T-34-85, and I think that's it. I think I only have 4 tanks in this lineup. But this game was special to me because this is the first like really powerful result I've had in a while in this game. And it just got me stoked to keep grinding out the SU-122-54, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to play the ISU-152, I'm going to dirt people in the face, and I'm going to use my Talisman and Premium account to hopefully get the job done in a couple weeks. Where do I sit with that? I'm about maybe a fifth, I think, of the way there now. We're getting there. We're getting there. Progress has been slow just because there was a while there where I just really didn't want to play anywhere near this battle rating, but 6.0 is close enough. You know, I feel like the fights are generally not unbalanced. I've lost plenty of games against German teams. I've lost plenty of games against American teams. I've won plenty of games against American teams and German teams. So, I don't know. Kind of like it. But in this game, we managed to rack up 9 kills, which I think is a lot. I think that's pretty good. In a tank that has a 25-second reload, well, 24 and a half, and a game where I thought we were going to lose. And for a while, it looked like that. But, you know, the team was able to hold it together, and we got the job done. So it was a really, really fun game, and I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I've been Corny Swiss. I'll see you next time.